What's up, YouTube? Guys, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we had a video, man. We're gonna do a little bit of lake fishing today. Y'all see? We got some big water going on. It's not so much of fishing. We're gonna do a lot of practice. Okay, we got the tournament trail coming up, guys. Some of you may know it, some of you don't. Well, here it is. We got a tournament trail coming up. We're gonna be fishing MLF as a co-angler. So what I'm gonna do is, since we don't have a boat today, I'm just gonna break down water, and I'm talking about from the shore, because you guys know it's pre-spawn. A lot of bass, the water's starting to warm up. The temps are starting to, get a little higher out here. So the fish are gonna start to pull out of that deep water and start coming into some of these shallow water structures. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna look for irregularities on the bank. As you can see, little cutouts. We're gonna look where grass stops and starts. We're gonna look into our rocks, where the water heats up. We're gonna really just break down the lake. We're not here to catch a whole lot of fish today. What we're doing is we're taking mental notes, okay? We're probably gonna fish some deep water on the boat. We'll get to that later. We'll get to a couple videos of that, but right now we're breaking down the shore. From the shore, even though it's a different angle, you still get the concept when you're on that boat, when you look for them irregularities on the bank. So what we're gonna do is, for one, we're gonna start off with, we're gonna look at this structure right here. All right, you look at that. Now you see all this grass, these trees that's coming in, shallow water, right? Well, this is a smallmouth fishery. It has largemouth and smallmouth bass in it. It has largemouth, smallmouth. It also has walleye, things of that nature. Well, if we're in a tournament, the smallmouth and the largemouth are what we're really wanting to target, right? So we're gonna take a place like this. This is a smallmouth area. We've caught largemouth out of here, but very few, but we caught an abundance of smallmouth in here. Only because if you look at it, it's a flat. You look at this is a flat, guys. This is the rock structure that they look for is clear water, because smallmouth love clear water. And usually if you get good sunlight on something like this, you can have a blast on an area like this, especially on the tournament day. So what we're gonna do is, we have a jig. Our first thing we're gonna do when I come here, I know this water's clear and that fish can see me. So this area is where I'm gonna be targeting. I'm gonna be targeting right here. Now, I'm not gonna walk up on that area because I know he can see, the visibility is good. I'm not perfect at flipping, but I'm gonna flip that jig right off into that spot. And what I'm gonna do is, once I got that fish's attention, this is clear water, I'm gonna sidestep into a better position where I can work that jig back without getting it tangled up, for one. And another thing is, I'm out of that fish's view. So I'm gonna I might even step back a little bit off the water while I'm working that jig, because I don't want him to see me, and I really don't want to make a whole lot of vibration to have that fish leery, because in the spring, you guys know, there's a lot of fish that get spooked really, really easy. So you want to take your time when you're doing it. You don't want to make a big cast at first thing in clear water. You want to kind of flip it into there. If you're not good at flipping, do like I'm doing. I'm steady flipping daily to get better at it. So we're gonna pitch that off in there. We're gonna work that in there. Now, with this water being clear, he's got a good visual. So I'm gonna move my jig a little faster than I would in murky water. All right, I might even swim it, but I'm gonna take that same motion and flip that jig right off in there again. See if I get a response. Now, if I don't get a response right there, I might can move up a little bit, but I'm not gonna do it till after I finish my second or third cast, because within that time, that bass is gonna make up his mind whether he wants to eat it. Oh, that might have been a rock. See, just like that, it felt like a hit, because I have not had contact with any rock sticking or anything. But just to make sure, we're gonna go right back off in there. All right, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get back in there. Right on there, there we go. We're gonna make sure we flip. Try to be as accurate as possible. I'm not saying you're gonna be perfect. Nobody is, but you wanna be as accurate as you can. And me, with my flipping style, the way I do it, it's not the best, but the way I flip it, I'm into this right here. This is my way of flipping without losing any accuracy. I flip from the wrist, but I finish high, kind of high when I drop it, because I want it to just drop. Now, I see a lot of people skip and flip. I mean, that's the more advanced, but we're here just to get better and to get into the fish real good. All right, so after we flipped over it 2 or 3 times, like it felt like we had a bite. I don't feel any structure, so I'm pretty sure it's a bite. I'm gonna work that area. I'm gonna take one more cast because he might have got spooked off. I don't know if he hit the hook or not, so we're gonna take one more cast. There we go. Just to see if he's still over there. But I'm gonna work it a little different. I'm gonna work that jig a little faster. Kind of like almost swimming it with a couple pops to it, because that's how he hit it. All right. I'm gonna flip a little further back in, because usually when they get spooked, they'll go a little further in the cover. So I'm gonna take that. There we go. A little further in the cover. All right. So we worked that area, and we're pretty sure he's not there, right? We're gonna approach it from the shore. From the shore, we'd walk on up. But from a boat, the same difference. That boat, if I'm coming in this angle, and we take like a 45-degree angle and cast off in this spot, and we're coming through here, and we stop that boat in front of that little clearing right here, that little channel or whatever, and stop, and we're flipping that, we're gonna make sure that boat's far enough back to where that fish can't see you. And then I'm gonna work my way out of that cove, all the way down that weed line. See, now you can get to where you can probably roll cast. You didn't drop him in there. You're gonna kind of roll cast. So I'm gonna kind of roll it and drop it in there. Not a huge splash, and it doesn't really disturb the water. You can see the rings spread out quite quickly. I'm hitting that edge of that grass. There we go. Came in contact with the grass. Shook my jig loose. A lot of times your bites will come from when you shake it loose from a stick or a rock or out of a weed line. But you gotta remember, it's still February, so they might not be as aggressive. So we're gonna kind of just work it. We're in a pre-spawn, situation anyway. So we're gonna kind of just look. Today we're just scouting and practicing the way we need to have our minds fixed on catching. Okay, that's a lot of grass. There we go. Right back on that weed line. Back on that weed line. Okay, we noticed there's some grass there. So we're gonna work that. Okay, they're not hitting the jig, right? We didn't get another strike off the jig. We're gonna get us some moving bait. Well, but you see there's rocks here. Now this is important. You see there's rocks here. You see there's a lot of trash on the bottom as far as like weeds, roots, things of that nature. Fish appropriately. Don't go grab this. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna grab that jerk bait. Why is that? It's gonna hang up. If you do get a fish, he's gonna hang up. Even though we know they might bite them things because of the season, we're not gonna do that until we get to where we can fish it. We're not gonna throw that lipless. Why is that? It's gonna hang up. We're gonna throw a single body baits from a swim bait. I mean, I got a jig here for a swim bait. And then we're also gonna throw our chatterbaits, our bladed jig. And this is why we're gonna do that. We're gonna go over here and see that cover. See, I don't have to make a big splash, but I can get that sucker back there in that cover without it hanging up as much. It's more weedless. See what I'm saying? And I can really slowly work that bait out of there and try to get them, because as you guys know, some lakes, fish are a little more lethargic than others in the wintertime. So you want to work that, a little differently. And hit that grass line too. Just like that. Just like that. There we go. See, we can bring that bladed jig right between that grass line, just like that. I'm pitching the AOT Darth Vader black and red. And the reason why I'm doing that, because red is a very vital color, especially in pre-spawn, guys. And that black on it, that dark, just makes it kind of like a silhouette. They can see just a silhouette of it. You know what I mean? Looks like something injured if you look at it. So with clear water like that, I can target that grass first. If they pulled up, oh, that's grass. Man, I thought we had one. That's grass. But yeah, I want to target that grass first, because if they pulled up and they're starting to stage, they'll start fanning. A lot of females will start fanning. And they can do that as early as the end of January if the weather's right. So you can't go by the months anymore if the weather's right. But we've had some cool air the last 3 or 4 days, so we're gonna just kind of like, we're searching. We're basically just searching to try to see where they might be at, take mental notes, and look at things we want to target when we get on that water. So I'm gonna hit the edge of this. I've hit the back end of the cove all the way to the mid part of that grass line. So we're gonna go towards the edge. So that means we're gonna take longer casts. Now, does that mean the bait has to drop out there real hard? No. You still want to make that bait land as soft as possible. Now, I'm not saying it's going to just land soft as a pillow or anything like that, but that sucker's going to land and not make a lot of noise. We're not trying to spook them fish. I'm going to work that through there. Right through that grass line. We're going to work it through that grass line. And like I said, you guys look at this bait is a lot more appropriate. Cause look, you can work that through that grass line just like that. Just like that. All right, so we're gonna go back over here. Now I'm a little further into the grass line. I'm gonna throw it a little further into the grass line. Oh, got a little trash on it. I'll get off there. There we go, got a little trash on it. Gotta bring it up a little bit. All right, we'll take another cast and see where we're at. Okay, we're gonna work through here to this grass line. Okay, guys, we have taken 3 or 4 casts in here. And one thing you gotta do in a tournament, time is a factor. You want to fail early as possible. What I mean by fail early as possible, because that's one key that pros got over most people. They know to fail early. Why did I say fail early? If something's not working in that first 10 to 15 minutes, they know to move on to the next bait. And the next bait, and the next bait, and the next bait, utilize their time. That's why it's so easy for some people to catch fish, because they're like, hey, this is not working. Let's go do something else. They're not going to wait on that fish to bite. They're going to make him bite by throwing something in front of him that he might want. So we're gonna do that, a lot of that today, guys. So what we're gonna do is, this area has not produced, but we took a mental note of what we wanna hit when we come back out here. So we're gonna leave this area alone. We ain't gonna beat it up, we're gonna move on. See if we can find some biting fish.